I can't explain what it was, but I knew it sounded pretty dope. And it was the choir using the word. So I woke up and I was like a man on a mission. I had to find a choir to make this happen. So I got this amazing, crazy story that we pulled off in one day, and it was something that kind of solidified and propelled the brand that I'm a part of, the Raw Breed. It propelled us at the beginning. So basically, I made this song that started the album, The Story of the MG, and it was called The Struggle. I had already wrote, recorded, had it mixed. It was the first song of an idea to an album. One night, this is all factual. I was watching a bunch of TikToks, and I actually came across a TikTok of Kanye West in a plane with an entire orchestra choir, and he was performing Jesus Walks live a cappella, and the choir was kind of, even making the harmony of the beat. And I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. I went to bed that night and had an actual dream of my song, "The Struggle" that I had mentioned, being played at a church by a church choir. And it wasn't exactly like the rap. I can't explain what it was, but I knew it sounded pretty dope. And it was the choir using the word. So I woke up and I was like a man on a mission. I had to find a choir to make this happen and make it a reality. So I started Google searching choirs. I had contacted a couple. Steve Brown, who was also the engineer to this song, told me about a choir at the Oswego Gospel. I'm sorry, Oswego College had a choir called the Oswego Gospel Choir. And I don't know what his affiliation was with them. He may have recorded an artist that was a part of it. So I reached out to him. A young man named Kamal, K, the vocalist, had reached back to me and said, "Hey man, I love this idea." I kind of gave him a briefing of what it was, and we had linked right away. I drove out there and I showed him what I was thinking. I told him about the dream, and he bit down into it right away. So about a week or two later, me and Wiggs, my partner in crime in this, we went back out there to kind of see what he had whipped up together with the students of this choir. And both of us were just like, "Yo, no way." I mean, and this kid Kamal is a straight professional. They made up the melody. They basically took my words and made it into a choir melody. And I needed to get it recorded right away. It was just something I knew was going to change everything. I felt that. Shout outs to Steve, the engineer, because he held it down that day. Cody, obviously filming this, just came together as a team. And we brought, I believe it was 16 choir members, including Kamal. We drove them from Oswego to the studio. We got a bunch of cars and did a convoy. We didn't even we didn't even rent a van. It would probably have been way smarter. Steve and Mikey T, who wasn't actually a part of our group at the time, we didn't know who he was right at that moment. They had set up in the studio A all these different microphones. They basically broke up the different levels in the choir so they could sing as a piece. We recorded their part. I had to do a couple little adjustments because now they had brought so much energy. It was unbelievable. And we also shot the music video that day. Now, for A-list artists, I would say that this is something that may happen on the regular. But when you're underground and you're financing your own stuff, people work, they have jobs. These kids were at school. Doing all of this in one day was kind of a lot to ask for, but they pulled it off. We got lunch. We had a couple spots that we did that were sidebar stuff. But the big portion of it was at a church. We went to this Baptist church on the south side. Obviously, they didn't have any type of services going on at the time. So yeah, we shot it, and it was something that was exhausting. It was fun. It was different, at least from around here. And I don't want to downplay anything anybody's ever put their heart into. I just think when you look at the music video entirely, you could tell it was thought out. The production was crazy. Cody did his thing on the music video itself. So we put it out. I mean, for where we were at and how well unknown we were, uh, it definitely catapulted our group's image and sound tremendously. And shout out to Oswego Gospel Choir for that. Kamal K, the vocalist, he's still doing his thing. So it's beautiful to see, and it was a huge part for him too. The cool part is that that album ended up being a big part of the Real Raw Breed's history because we did win a Sammy that year for the story of MG. We had been nominated a couple times, but we do believe that the struggle itself, the song, the music video, kind of set the bar a little bit too high for anybody to reach that year. It got so much recognition that after winning the Sammys in 2021, for the 2022 ceremony, they had asked us to perform. We got to share the stage with Tom Ketty and his band, and we actually were the last ones to perform that night. So it was a pretty big deal. We made sure that the struggle was what we started with, and I got to tell you, when I put my mind to something, I'm gonna make it all out or nothing. And we put an actual production on stage, and it was the coolest thing ever. As soon as the curtains come up, there's nothing on stage but the choir, all laid out like if it was at church. And Kamal standing in front, conducting this choir, and they sung the a cappella portion of the music video that you see, just like in the music video. And a couple of the personnel were different because this was years apart, but and then as soon as the beat drops, I come out and just from the back, and it felt like some, what I see on the BET Awards. And I'm not comparing myself to anybody on that level. Just the idea of its production level was off the chain, and it really did set the brand um, in an upward motion. There was a couple other pieces, of course, that we were doing, and the funny thing is I think yet to perform that as a group at any of the major or minor stages that we've been on, maybe once or twice. But considering how many people we've opened up for and some of the events we've been a part of, I've really never performed that because I feel like it is an award show style song. So shout out to Oswego Gospel Choir, Steve Brown, Cody, Kamal, obviously J.R. Wiggs, Canna, Mikey T. Before we knew who he was, we all made that happen, and it made the Real Raw Breed what we are today, in my opinion. It's pretty cool.